Okay then, everything should be finally running correctly. So hello everyone, welcome back to Dynamic Racing Leagues here on YouTube for, of course, round 7 of the DRL GT Championship here in a very sunny Monza. Got plenty of cars on track today, should be another great race, a track focusing on top speed as well as the amount of speed you can carry through the chicanes, of course. Currently mid-qualifying, as you can see. Brandon about to go on to a lap. Dynamic Carbon currently are pole sitter by 7 thousandths of a second over Nils. Nils currently purple in Sector 1, about to come up to the Sector 2 mark with that Ferrari on its home turf. Sailor making a return as well. They're currently third in the standings at the moment, doesn't improve on that lap. Wide Bear, the other Ferrari, making the way through the first chicane, might actually end up holding up Dynamic a bit. But then again, slipstreaming can also be important and have its factors. King of Torque here once again in the Mercedes, currently got a 0.2 second penalty, which will probably turn this lap invalid. Or not, apparently they've changed the system up a bit. That currently puts them third even after that penalty. Houdini, they are making, I believe, their first appearance yet in the Audi R8 LMS. You may remember them as a substitute for the Scuderia Nuke Shoddy team. Well, the way it's working now is this is his semi-permanent drive, and whenever he's needed as a substitute, he will be transferred over to the Ferrari. Just helps keep the numbers up. So good to see him here in the Martini Racing Team Audi R8. Classic black and white livery there. Runs a little bit wide out of the Ascari chicane. Game chooses not to penalise him for that one. Brandon currently third, although we have seen quite a lot of cars exit the circuit, so the standings currently not completely accurate. But Brandon here again for Hypersport TF, of course. That bright blue Aston Martin looking mighty fine indeed. Scrolling through some of the cars, some are stopped on circuit. There's Ayrton Spanner, who you may remember from previous seasons and such. They're in a BMW M6. I'll need to double check what team they're running for. They normally run for Team Black Diamond, so it wouldn't surprise me if that's the case again, although I could be mistaken. I think they're running a different car. I shall get that information shortly. It just says TBA BMW, so not even Team Black Diamond. That's something on the thread anyway. Oh, phone has got a notification. Great. But still, the top of the timing sheets at the moment, Dynamic Carbon with a very slender margin of just 7 thousandths of a second. All cars, of course, running a racing soft compound, all fueled up as well. Carbon on an outlap at the moment. Closest challenger here, Nils, in the Ferrari. Should be a circuit quite suited to the Ferrari. No real low speed corners, besides the first chicane, I suppose. as Ayrton Spanner has just gone fastest of all with a 147.934. That is not quite, but pretty much close enough to 0.2 of a second faster than Carbon. Nils crosses the line not to improve on that occasion. Purple in Sector 1 is King of Torque. So with 10 minutes into the session, that means 5 minutes left. Of course, we normally have 15-minute sessions here in DRL. Sailor, they're about to come across the line. They go top of the standings with a 147.696. That's a further 0.2 faster than Ayrton Spanner. So indeed, the two Team Black Diamond rivals, who this is, of course, using different cars, technically different teams, they're cementing themselves at the top of the standings with different machinery. Carbon with a 0.9 second penalty, not looking they're going to improve on this lap with that kind of disadvantage. Qualifying at the sharp end of the grid is very close. Serving a bit of that penalty now. King of Torque currently sits slower than Brandon, that's 6th. So Brandon again. Oh, there was a bit of a cut over that chicane. Easy done. The game should be giving a penalty for that, I'd imagine. But apparently not. Houdini is about to come across the line. Not quite to improve on their time on that occasion. Still a bit of time to go in the session. Wybeck currently sits 7th. They are purple by 0.7 of a second. So that's quite a chunk. Quite intrigued by that. How on earth does one... Unless there was some kind of corner cut shenanigans that I don't know about. Wybeck's certainly on for a very flying time if he is indeed legitimately 0.7 up. Ayrton Spanner meanwhile has retaken the top of the timing from Team Black Diamond Sailor, so that's a 147.558 for them. So BMWs currently sit 1st and 3rd. Ferrari of Nils trying to find his way into the slipstream of the car ahead. I think that might be Dynamic. Indeed it is. There's a car slow on the straight. That would appear to be the other BMW of Spanner. One thing I'd just like to comment on is the turnout of the grid. Actually, we've got quite a lot more cars than we've seen at recent races, and certainly an improvement, and good to see. Actually Wybeck on their last lap improved, puts them 5th, only 2.5 behind their teammate, who is sat in 4th at the moment. So 4th and 5th for the Ferraris. Sailor, it hasn't come up that they improved in that last sector, but they might be able to gain something going through Parabolica. Several cars making their way through there. Now there's a bit of traffic at the second chicane, I've just noted on the mini-map. Sailor using all of the track width to try and bring as much speed out of that R8 as possible. Can't quite improve as predicted, and Spanner into the pits. Got a minute left in qualifying now, and Spanner's still at the top of the table. Nils 0.4 up, so the Ferrari is perhaps just really fast in Sector 1, because we did see Wybeck going quite quickly with that Delta as well. It's perhaps at the latter stages of the circuit that it starts to suffer a bit. Brandon, I think they might just about be able to get onto another lap here. I think they'll be the last car to do so. All depends on the timing. got 10 seconds to go here. Yep, Brandon makes it onto an extra lap. And the flag is called. So who's going to be the first to cross? Houdini, they're running wide, although they were purple in that sector. They can't quite get it together. They stay 8th, although they did improve on that. Nils actually improves over Carbon with a 148.057. That's enough for 3rd at this point. Carbon also green in that sector, but they have been typing, which means they might have lost a bit of speed from that, and they go to the pit, so that's Carbon out of the equation. What can Sailor do on their final lap? They can't improve. Brandon going slowly at second chicane. King of Torque is purple in sector 1 and will be coming up to sector 2 shortly. They are only green in sector 2, so perhaps Ayrton Spencer's sector 1 was a bit of a shocking one, but he made up quite a bit of time. And what can the Mercedes do on the brakes as they make their way through Parabolica? It would seem like they're the last car on a lap at the moment. King of Torque, they're about to come up to the line. What's it going to be for them? A 148.398, that puts them 6th, if I'm not mistaken, if you count Carbon as well. Here are the standings at the end of qualifying, with Carbon not on track of course, so there you see the gaps. 147.558 was enough for Ayrton Spencer to take the pole position here at Monza. So a great effort by them. And Sailor in the RA LMS managing to get 2nd as well, so good result for both of those guys. Nilsman being the closest challenger to them in 3rd with a 148.0, so interesting to note. Now we're going into the break period for a little while. Some peasants messaging me on my phone. Oh, apparently Brandon's been caught out by some kind of ballast issue, so he's not had the correct amount of ballast, which means he's going to be at the back of the grid for that. But that pretty much concludes qualifying here at Monza. There is your pole sitter. Hear the birds chirping away in Monza National Park. King of Torque playing with some of the track hazards there. In fact, that's a really close gap between King and Weiber at the end of that. 4 thousandths of a second between, I believe, 4th and 5th, because Carbon was faster than both of them. I'll quickly check the times. So, there's Spanner, then Sailor, Nils, Weibeck, Wait, no, it was Nils, then Carbon, then Bear King, then Brandon. So I think that's 7th. Might be wrong. I mean, I think Brandon would have to start at the back of the grid anyway due to running incorrect balance. I think that's what happened in the past, at least. Bear just parked upon the grass. King of Torch just trying to push around a concrete bollard. Fair enough to him. As that Sailor making their way around the second chicane, parking up. So this is the point of the stream where I go through the championship standings, I believe. So on to that. In the driver's standings at this particular time, it is this guy, Dynamic Carbon, at the top of the table on 90 points in first. King of Torque in second on 66 points, so that's quite a gap there. And Nils on 62 points, his racing number, funnily enough. They are in third. Sailor and Bear are currently tied for fourth in the standings, so this could be a make or break race between those two. Ayrton Spanner on 34 points, so that pole position could mean, if they have a really good race here, that they'll be shooting up the order. Tetsu, who is no longer here anymore, they're on 30 points in 7th. Brandon, who was called out by the ballast, is on 26 points in 8th. NS Rhino, who isn't here actually, no Foxcatcher McLarens here today, sad to see, they're on 21 points. John Wonder and their teammate on 18 points in 10th. Houdini, who is finally getting a chance to have a bit more of a full-time drive. They're currently on 12 points, so expect them to go up the order a bit now that they had that. And Roland, who isn't here either, they are on 8 points at the bottom of the standings. As for the team's championship, it's currently the Scuderia Nuke Shoddy lads of Nils and Bear, who are on 116 points combined, which takes them first in the standings. Dynamic Esports of this guy, again, Dynamic Carbon Series Organizer, they're on 90 points, which for a one-car effort is really solid. Team Black Diamond Esports on 84 points. Grip Runners Motorsport is on 66 points, they're in 4th. Foxcatcher, with their many appearances, pretty regular entries up to today when we haven't seen one, they've actually done enough to put themselves 5th in the standings because of that consistency on 39 points. Hyper Racing TF, as they're listing the thread, they are on 34 points though, so Brandon gets a really solid result. They could find themselves jumping ahead of Foxcatcher in the standings. Checkered Flag Motorsports on 30 points, but Tetsu, of course, their driver, no longer competing for one reason or another. And Audi Sport Team RL, also no longer competing, I believe. They're on 6 points in the team standings. So hello to Houdini in chat. Nice to see you there. Indeed, shout out to you. And yes, good to know again that you did indeed contribute to our current Teams Championship lead for Scuderia Nuke Shoddy, so good on you, lad. So it's currently 8:25, which I believe normally means that the race isn't too far away. And considering we're not waiting for King of Talk because he's already here, perhaps we'll start on schedule today. How exciting would that be? And Spanner just parked up on the gravel track on the exit of the left. First Lesmo. Say sorry to the listeners, alright, I guess. Soz. For something. It might have been a bit of a shot fired, but wait, what? Saying the Audi's no longer competing? What? Oh no, I said Audi Sport Team RL. Oh wait, you're driving for them, right? Okay. Sorry, there's a little bit of confusion there. I need to check the thread. If you're listed on there, then fair enough, that's my mistake. Oh, you are? Fair enough then. So my assumption of you racing under your own banner of Martini Racing Team was wrong. Again, I do apologise to the viewers for that. Corrected myself at last, as we see Ayrton Spencer stalking his prey in the natural habitat of the BMW M6, the grass. Unbelievable scenes here. Someone get David Attenborough. Jack Wilkinson on the cam again. Of course, big up. Oh, what? Is Wybear there as well as Nils? I think both Ferraris are parked inside of each other, as well as the BMW of Spanner then. Alright, lads. This race is not brought to you by anything, except possibly Rogue Energy, but I'm not being paid by them, Carbon is. Shaken, not stirred. Speaking of which, Carbon, where's that paycheck? Which I've been waiting several seasons for. Some nice donuts here by King of Torque on the straight just before Parabolica. Fairly certain Bandit pays for those tyres, not you, so I'm not sure if he's going to be too pleased about this. Well, as the meme goes in the NES, at least they're not the tyres that you have to start on from qualifying. It is a brand new set, of course, that you get at the start of the race. We're still in a bit of a delay period at the moment, not quite sure what's causing it this time. It's only something. Here's Carbon in the pits. You heard it here first, Houdini wants an actual sponsorship that pays money and he'll put it on his car. Same actually. If anyone wants to sponsor Noob Shop Motorsport, please do so. If anyone wants to continue sponsoring DRL or Dynamic Esports or any of us lads, to be fair, then go ahead, get in contact with us at www.idon'tknowtheurl.com. There is indeed a mandatory tyre change for this race, so something to look out for. No one will be able to do the Bo Fushidara, which occurred in DTM, I think a couple seasons ago. Yeah, it was season 1, if I recall, where he did a no-stop here at Monza, which the tyres should last quite a while considering the amount of straights, and not really being too much of a cornering circuit. so to speak. Well, here we have the grid for round 7 here of DRL GT at Monza. We have Ernst Spanner on pole, we have Sailor on second, lining up alongside, Nils in third, Carbon fourth, Wyber fifth, King of Torque in sixth, Houdini seventh, and Brandon in eighth. Cars getting away with the rolling start. It'll be interesting to see how they go. 3, 2, 1, and it's green, 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 and the cars are off. Making their way down the straight. It's going to be a bit of a slipstream battle already. The cars are spaced out. I think the Ferrari is the closest to challenge anyone at the moment. Look at this from Nils. Is he looking down the inside already? Not quite. Side by side for fourth as Wyber is looking to go around the outside of Carbon. Oh, there's contact. Contact between those guys. Houdini also sort of getting a bit involved on the back of things. Brandon making his way around side by side through Curva Grande between last and second to last, King of Torque and Brandon at the moment. It looks like Brandon's going to have the inside line.com. Oh, and that's Wyberg going off, forced to cut the chicane. Someone's gone round at the second chicane there, so we're going to have to see who that was. It was Houdini, was it then? Going to get a replay of this. So what happened to Houdini? Just contact with Wyber, the R8 goes round, and they lose positions and time due to that. All of this is allowing Ernst Spanner to escape a bit. Nils again putting the pressure on Sailor. And Carbon also sticking with this group. So the top four starting to break away a bit. Carbon putting himself in Nils's mirrors as they make their way down towards Parabolica for the first time. Look at this side by side. Brandon and King of Torque still. Brandon managing to get the overtake done. King, oh, just about muscles his way down the inside. Bit of contact, onion bargies if you will. Brandon stays ahead at this point. Look at this, Sailor looking to get a bit of his defensive game on as Nils tries to look in the Ferrari, can't quite get it done. Bit of contact between those guys. The Ferrari again looking strong on corner exit, looking around the outside of Curva Grande. That might leave the door open for the chasing BMW of Carbon behind as well, as it looks like the Ferrari's just about alongside. He's gonna outbrake in just about. Side by side through there's pretty much only one line through a chicane, and it hasn't worked out for him. Brandon still scrapping away with King of Torque. There you see it. King of Torque managing to retake the position. Plenty of good stuff at the moment. Actually, it looks like King of Torque, yep, has picked up a penalty, and just notice as he ghosted rather, Royce doing mad things as per usual. Braking into the Ascari chicane. Now it seems that Ernst Spanner has broken away from the chasing pack. Gonna go on board, there we go, camera, with Nils, making his way down to Parabolica. Getting great noise from the Ferrari, and of course the Audi R8 up ahead as well at V10. Oh, was a bit wide going out of there, a bit of a slip from the mid-engine car. Going to lose a bit of momentum from that, but he's not going to be out of slipstream range. He's going to have to watch out for Carbon behind though. Making their way up to the braking zone. Yep, and they stay pretty much as they were. They can see the gap starting to come down. Oh! Side by side again between Brandon and King of Torque. Let's see that one again. The King of Torque looking to get alongside into the braking zone. And then side by side, through the chicane. There's a bit of ghosting on both parties, and it looks like Brandon retains that for now. Ghosting again. They make their way through the second chicane, and now it looks like King of Torque has managed to get past, as Brandon's gone into the gravel. So a bit of a mistake from Brandon, sees them drop back. That is actually outside of the new slipstream range of 1.3 seconds. So unfortunate for Brandon, needs to really step up into another gear if he's going to try and get back on to King of Torque without slipstream, especially at a circuit like Monza. We also saw Houdini, who made a pit stop as someone's gone round at the Ascari chicane. It is Brandon. Brandon gone off. We're about to see what happened to him. Oh, he was on the grass while braking, just tried to take too much of a wide angle, the car not having it, and it just spat him out into the middle of the gravel. Lucky to avoid picking up damage from that. He's left the lobby. Sailor still having to defend a bit from Nils. He can't quite find the pace to shake Nils off here, and in fact it looks like the Audi R8 LMS has a bit of a poor run going on the exit of the first chicane. That Ferrari looking very strong at the moment in the opening stages of the race. Tyre wear probably not its best strength, so as the race unfolds it might be a bit different. They're side by side through the second chicane again. They leave each other enough racing room, and Nils manages to get it done around the outside of the second chicane. And now look, Carbon wants a piece of the action as well. On board with Dynamic Carbon in the BMW M6. Hearing from Brandon in the chat that his PS4 went into rest mode, so that's unfortunate to hear. Can we have some Fs in chat for that, for anyone who is watching the stream but not racing? There, I've contributed. So now with Nils up into second place, it's going to be a question of can he find the pace to break away from Sailor as the slipstream too much. And look at the background, the Mercedes of King is starting to be lurking onto the back of this group as they continue to fight it out. Through Parabolica they go. The Ferrari holds strong at the moment. You gotta think that V10 of the Audi R8 is going to be in full effect as they make their way down the start-finish straight. Personal best lap by Nilsson. It was a 148.999. And Sailor just putting himself in the mirrors again, chooses not to challenge going into the first chicane. Probably realised he's a bit too far back. Bit of oversteer on exit from Nils, and still somehow manages to get a better exit than the R8. So how's the R8 just not so strong on acceleration compared to some of the other cars? Because even the BMW is getting onto the back of him. Meanwhile, I just had to quickly check that. White Bear's still a little bit down the order at the moment. We'll be catching up to these guys shortly. You can see him in the background there. Just had to check as there's a moment for Nils. Nils losing it momentarily. Runs a little bit wide into the gravel as well. So perhaps the pressure's starting to get to him. He was on exit of Lesmo 1. We're about to see it. Was he just carrying too much speed? No, it's just the car. Kick of oversteer. Going through Ascari. Wasn't really a kick of oversteer, it just seemed to lose traction a bit randomly. Interesting. Rear wing count on Nils's car. There you see Sailor tucked right into that slipstream. And we're down to 6 cars already due to the retirements of Houdini and Brandon. You should see the R8 and its straight line come into effect. Nils having to do a little bit of defensive weaving, also defending the inside line.com. Into the braking zone they go. Is Sailor going to try and get it around the outside? He does so. Fantastic move by Sailor to get that one done. Let's see a replay of this. So Sailor on the brakes far later than Nils, managing to get it done pretty much before they had to turn in. So really solid stuff, and that's a purple sector 1 by 0.3 of a second for Sailor, as Ayrton Spencer still up the road at this stage. Now, has Sailor got the pace to break free? It's going to be interesting to see. Again, the Ferrari, a very slippery car by shape, so should have an advantage in slipstreaming. And thanks for noting in chat, Gaming Now, when Brandon went off to use the AstroTurf and not the grass. So the fake grass, in other words. "7 seconds up the road is race leader Ayrton Spencer in that BMW M6, really putting on a bit of a masterclass at the moment. No one remotely near them. They can see them a bit further in the background. King of Torque not quite up to this pack just yet, but he's getting there. Oh, it was Nilsson the Lesmo you meant, right. Okay. Again, my apologies for that, but thanks for correcting me. Always useful to have the eagle-eyed viewers watching. You can see the delta coming down as the Ferrari is in the slipstream through Curva Grande. So Nils looking to make a move. It's late, but not late enough. Bit of a slide from Carbon as well, it seemed. Clearing my throat, sorry. Still plenty of the race to go, and these guys are still jostling for position, really close. In fact, it looks like King of Torque is finally on the back of this group, albeit with a 0.9 second penalty. They are in that 1.3 second slipstream range, so they'll be gaining a bit now. Just needs to serve that penalty gradually over the course of the race. Of course, they are experienced enough to do so. 4 different manufacturers, all on track, pretty much running at equal pace. Just what you like to see, isn't it? Car 8 leading them off in this pack. Ayrton Spencer is now 8.4 seconds up the road, so he keeps gaining time. Defensive driving from Sailor on this occasion. We're going to go on board with the Team Black Diamond Audi R8. Nils looking to the outside then. Not quite as brave on the brakes, although look at that, Sailor goes straight on at the first chicane. What on earth happened there? Let's just watch. On the brakes, the steering just seemed to give up on them or something. That was really odd. But Sailor's dropped down to 5th because of that mistake, so he's not going to be happy with himself whatever happened. And now look, a rivalry which we have seen on many occasions in DRL. Dynamic Carbon versus King of Torque is about to get heated once again. Nils able to escape from these guys a little bit now that Sailor's gone. Although Sailor's starting to catch up to the back of King, as Carbon will start scrapping with them. That very chunky BMW M6 will be punching quite a sizable hole in the air ahead for the Mercedes to use for slipstream. It's a bit like what they say about the Bentley Continental GT3. It is a brick on wheels and very easy to slipstream off of. Same with the Nissan GTR. either of those here, of course. King still with a bit of penalty to serve, it would seem. Though it seems to have gone completely now. So he has managed to get that down. Going to be having a little bit of a run going on here, as I think Sailor may have had a bit of a moment. Parabolica, you seem to have dropped off the pace a little bit. King looking to see if he can outbrake him around the outside, try and make that move stick. For a second I thought King's steering was going to fail him there, but no, can't quite get the move done. Let's just stick behind for now. I'm just going to see what actually did happen to Sailor. If anything, did he just have a bit of a poor exit? Must have then. That was a bit odd, because the gap was smaller. Nils starting to break away a bit. King now ahead of Carbon, so missed that. I'm going to quickly go to the replay of this. Here it is. Chicane 2 is where the move took place. King managing to go around the outside there. Textbook move by the Brit on his ex-teammate. Now it's the BMW's turn to give chase. Nils has managed to get 2.9 seconds up the road from this scrap. Meanwhile, I quickly monitor the tyre situation. Of course, one stop is mandatory. Already you can see the Mercedes wearing its tyres a bit more than the BMW. As in typical fashion, King, with a far more aggressive driving style, does push the tyres a lot more. On the straight we go again. Fantastic rear wing camera, Gran Turismo. Again, King goes defensive, gives a little bit of a Rosberg squeeze, it would seem. It leaves the space again, not too aggressive with his former teammate. Carbon looking to go on the outside, they're still side by side. Racing room left between the two. It's going to be a bit of a drag race, see who's got the better acceleration. And they're still side by side through Curva Grande. The Mercedes have the inside line.com, so the shorter distance. Carbon runs a little bit wide. We'll have the inside for the upcoming chicane. It's going to be really tight between these two. They're still side by side. King still with the wheel in, but no, can't quite make it stick. And Carbon does take the position. So roles reversed yet again, and the Audi R8 is coming into this as well. The three manufacturers from DRL DTM Season 1, BMW, Mercedes and Audi, all together on track at the moment. Going to be a fantastic scrap developing. Well, it is already going, as the Mercedes looks to have a bit of a run on the straight again. Perhaps not as strong as the Mercedes AMG GT3 in real life on the straights. Has been known in real life for its straight line potential, but it certainly seems to have it in the corners. Laugh now, cry later in the chat, message retracted. I'm not even going to ask. The Mercedes managing to get past the BMW then at Parabolica. No, it really is a train. The BMW looks to make a bit of a counter-attack. Are we going to go 3 wide? Not quite. Audi can't quite find enough of a run. Carbon looks down the inside. They managed to make it stick. Oh, kick of oversteer from the Grip Runners Motorsport car. It's going to hamper their exit. But we've got a 3-car scrap going on right now, and it is juicy. Juicy stuff indeed. Nils currently 5 seconds up the road, not really making much of a gap, or closing the gap rather, to Ernst Spanner, who is still out in front, 11 seconds ahead of Nils. A penalty for dynamic carbon. We're gonna see if we can catch what that was for. No, we can't quite. These guys still fighting tooth and nail. be interesting to see how Sailor would manage to make a move in this situation, as they're side by side going down to the Ascari chicane. Looks like King manages to slot ahead for the actual corner, so he manages to get the move done on that occasion. And still waiting for the R8 of Team Black Diamond's Sailor in order to make some kind of a three-way scrap. At the moment he's just biding his time, letting these guys fight it out, wasting their tyres, playing the long game at the moment, but Sailor will probably be held up a bit because he was faster in qualifying, if you remember. The three continue as one, making their way across the start-finish line to go on to lap 12. BMW has a slight edge over the Mercedes in straight line. Going to be braking again. Oh, very close, as the Mercedes just about manages to hold on to the position. I was a bit concerned that Sailor would run into the back of the scrap that was going on, but nope, manages to keep it out just. BMW again. Oh, goes to the left, down the inside. Oh, can't quite get it to stick. It's going to compromise their exit, and this could allow Sailor to finally make a move. Carbon goes defensive. Sailor looks to the outside line.com. Can he get it to stick? Oh, he's still there just about. Is he? No, not quite. Looked juicy for a second. Carbon's dropped back a fair few tenths now, so the slipstream's going to be a lot stronger for Sailor than it is for Carbon. And with that mid-engine R8, should be good through Ascari, you would think. Here you see him, car number 8 of the Norwegian driver Sailor, making their way. They seem to have lost a bit of time through Ascari, it seems, there, so not sure what happened. Ybear 11.6 seconds back as well, but still not out of this. If they continue scrapping, Ybear will catch up relatively quickly, you would think. Especially with the pace that Nils is doing in that Ferrari at the moment. King of Torque having to go a bit defensive again with the slipstream braking. Carbon putting himself in the mirrors. Ybear actually going for an undercut. It seemed quite a sizable undercut as well. They have gone into the pit lane. Here you see the pit crew at work. Still the PlayStation by Nookshot pit crew of NES Season 4 there. And out he goes. So we'll be hoping, because he's got a lot of clear air as well, that he should be able to make quite a bit of time to the guys ahead as they continue scrapping as well, wearing their tyres. Carbon again starting to lose a bit of touch from King. King's starting to find his rhythm as he's got a bit more breathing room. King is indeed escaping up the road. He's very close to breaking the slipstream. 1.2 seconds the gap now. And Sailor, are they just about up alongside? They are. So Sailor finally making their move, and down the inside they go. With the braking zone of Ascari, Sailor gets the move done, but will Carbon be able to make a counter-attack? We've seen this. So easy to do with the slipstream. It's what makes Monza a fantastic circuit. Sailor still holding the middle line of the circuit. Carbon perhaps looking for the inside, can't quite find it. The R8 holds on for now, and actually goes for the pits. They bail for the pits, and that is Sailor making a pit stop, change tyres, probably not thinking about counteracting Ybear, but rather just trying to get an undercut on the others, see if he can catch back up to the likes of King, or maybe even Nils. But that's that scrap pretty much over. Perhaps also realised he was losing time by scrapping, so got out of that situation. We'll need to be setting quite a few solid laps if he is going to catch it to the line. So Nils quite a bit ahead now. But Carbon has been let off the leash a bit as well to chase down King. Carbon a lot less aggressive on his tyres. We'll quickly do a tyre check again between 4th and 3rd. Yep, tyre wear on the fronts especially settling a bit more. Not to the point that the car should be affected that much. Not quite to the half distance marker yet, but we're certainly getting there. Had a very decent chunk of the race so far. 25 minutes has just gone. Thanks to all the viewers that are tuning in at this stage in the race. 5 of you total at the moment. 1 being myself. No shame. Hope you are enjoying the action as much as I am. Carbon starting to eat into that advantage of King. 1.3 seconds the gap. So close to getting into the slipstream again. Now, I think Carbon would probably try to keep pushing with this set, see if he can get to the slipstream of King, and instead of going for an overtake when he gets close enough, he'd probably bail for the pits and do what Sailor did. Sailor less than 14 seconds back. Got to factor that in with the pit stops. There is Sailor. It's going to have to be a very solid stop by both of the guys ahead, King and Carbon, if they are going to get out ahead of the charging Sailor. Nils still with a decent gap. And of course race leader Ernst Spenner as well, running away with it. So looking very, very solid as he usually does. Dear, pardon me. King of Torque making their way through the Lesmos. The gap has certainly come down, and that BMW with its downforce is certainly showing to be a bit of an advantage through some of the corners. Of course, it is a car that Dynamic Esports has had a lot of time tuning. Not so certain whether Grip Runners Motorsports had the same amount of time with the Mercedes. Gap really closing down now. In fact, I'm gonna call it. Carbon might be able to make a move going into turn 1 here, especially with how close it's getting now. 0.2 of a second on corner exit. Oh, bit of a weave from King of Torque. Now ruin their momentum. They decide to go for the outside line.com. Bit of an interesting strategy, perhaps to get the inside for the second part of the chicane, which could be the most crucial bit. They break around the same point. It looks like Carbon's just about managed to slot ahead. So that racecraft hasn't paid off for King. On that occasion, he was 1 step ahead, or so he thought, and it hasn't paid off for him. Now he's got a bit of work to do again to get back past. All of this playing into the hands of Sailor, 13.1 seconds back. Race leader Ernst Spenner, their last lap was a 148.167. Fastest of the race so far was a 147.373. That is lightning pace from the Brit. Of course, from the Welshman. Forgot the helmet already. Of course, typical. I just got a notification. Oh, a new follower! Shout out to... No, the name's just gone off the screen. Great. Don't know whether they're following me off the stream or something, but... whoever it is, big up. Welcome to whatever, I don't know. We're about to get to the half race distance marker here. Car's going on to lap 17 of 33. Carbon, now that they have got ahead, the gap has increased a little bit because King wasn't able to get any sort of a run with the slipstream to manage to challenge into turn 1, which could be a bit of a concern for King. Perhaps it's time for King to start worrying a bit more about Sailor. Although it could also be fuel saving, could King. That's another potential strategy, to save time on the pit stop. Although normally you don't have to fuel save. But it is Monza. You do spend a lot of time flat out. So perhaps fuel is going to be a factor in this one. Oh, King running very wide. Has a 0.4 second penalty for something. Must have been a corner cut. That's usually what those penalties are. Here we see it again. Just running a little bit too wide for my liking. Manages to keep two wheels on the curb though, which is of course the track limits in DRL. Wybear with a 0.5 second penalty as well. They're charging around in 6th at the moment. They were the first to make their pit stop. Car 99, currently 19 seconds off pace with Sailor, who's also made their stop. But still going round, still going strong. Mills comes across the line. As that is King of Torque, as I perhaps thought. Perhaps he heard me over stream about a potential strategy change. He's gone into the pits. And indeed, look, 51 litres of fuel, and he's over the half race distance, so fuel saving shouldn't be an issue for King. Out the pits he goes. Where's Sailor going to be? It's going to be close. There is Sailor, and Sailor manages to get up into 4th because of that. The undercut has worked out for the Norwegian. Solid stuff from him, as THG Richie, from all the way back in DTM Season 1, has decided to join the lobby. Big up, as per usual. Now the crucial thing is though, King has pretty much gone from one slipstream buddy in Carbon to another, rather than dropping out of the slipstream. This could be crucial because he's on fresher tyres than Carbon. Carbon, you gotta think, has to respond to that move that King has made. Has King put Carbon in checkmate? Sorry, awful joke. Had to say it. This is what you signed up for. Oh dear. Great banter, it really is. Carbon about to make their way down to Parabolica. Seems that Sailor still has a little bit of a gap over King. Nils going into the pit, so Nils there about to stop. Carbon, they do indeed decide it's best to cover off King rather than stay on these tyres. You can see the fuel that they've used as well, 45 litres left in the tank. So perhaps fuel saving might need to be a road factor for Carbon. We'll have to see. They do fuel up slightly, so that's going to drop them a bit further back. Here you see they exit the pits, and there you see King of Torque and Sailor a fair bit up the road. So Carbon's really lost out, as both of them have undercut him. Carbon now around 3 seconds back from the pair of them, and they're going to be slipstreaming off each other for a while. If they start scrapping, that gap can come down, as Carbon seems to have lost a smidge more time. Let's just quickly see if there was a bit of a mistake. Is it on acceleration? I didn't seem so. It just seemed to be the gap increasing a bit randomly. As there's a mistake, that's King of Torque, who has gone off at the second chicane. Certainly going to have to see that one again. So they're making the way round Curva Grande, about to approach the chicane now. Was it just a massive dive bomb gone wrong? What was it? No, it was the curb. The curb spat them out. And into the gravel they went. Had to be a bit careful on the rejoin. Did rejoin on the racing line, so a bit iffy, especially with Carbon there, but they avoid contact, so fair enough to them. Might go on in stewards at post-race. And Spencer making their pit stop, no pressure on them. Although, once again, their wheels have been completely removed after the pit stop. They are now a hover car. I don't know what it is. Is it normally a Team Black Diamond car as well that this happens to? Or TBA? Whatever team is going by these days. Of course, this being technically like a A or B team or sister team or some kind of thing, because teams have to use, or direct teams have to use the same car as each other. But yep, no wheels on that wagon, and somehow he's still leading the race. Nils, purple by nearly 6/10 in sector 1, so the BMW really not strong through that sector. Sailor has really gapped. Well, of course, with King making that mistake, it looked like he got a little bit leery going out of chicane 2 again. He'll go on board with King of Torque. Yep, a little bit shaky on throttle. Managing to keep it together for now though, but he has lost position. Bit of a rare mistake, we hardly see them from King. There's a mistake as well, that's a 1 second penalty for a corner cut. Gonna have to check this one out. On board, did he just turn in a bit too early? Yep, it would probably seem so. On King not having the best of time and things. The Monza's penalty system has been a bit notorious for that, because I did notice he did have 2 wheels on the curb, so he might want to protest that post-race. Fair enough, Richie, in the lobby chat. Just spectating. Without my majestic voice, so can't really blame him. The gap between Nils and Sailor, 5 seconds. So Nils, they made a bit of a mistake. Not got damage. Oh, 0.5 seconds from a bit of a corner cut again. Needs to just keep his focus, even if the track limits on Monza aren't registered completely correctly. He just needs to find out where they are set and avoid picking up penalties at all costs, because he doesn't want that gap to go down. At the moment it's extending a little bit between him and Sailor. Because I'm still choking to death. Oh dear, stupid throat. Through Ascari they go. There's the Dynamic Esports BMW M6 with its many real life sponsorships that I'm definitely not jealous of. Rounding Parabolica they go. Now I'm gonna quickly monitor the lap times between Carbon right now and King. So Carbon's lap at 147.6. 147.9 for King of Torque. They have been serving a bit of that penalty, but it shows that Carbon is pulling away from them a bit. So King not particularly on pace today. Normally we see them at least in the top 3. It's very strange to see them down in 5th. Such is the competitive nature of the grid. Of course, they will be dealing with some success ballast. Perhaps Spencer trying to get around the issue of by removing his wheels. Still, imagine to hold a very healthy 12.7 second gap over his closest rival Nils, who's getting that penalty down and maintaining the gap to Sailor at around 6.3 seconds. Sailor, meanwhile, on a bit of an island as per usual. 19 seconds off the leader. 6 seconds to Nilsson front as he picks up a 0.5 second penalty from Ascari. And 4.8 seconds behind him, Dynamic Carbon with that BMW M6, of course, Dynamic Esports. Series organisers also dealing with ballast from what I recall. Nils has just left. That would be a disconnection. Not again. Surely not again. What is it with Nils in this kind of awful luck? Because 100% I could guarantee you that is not a rage quit or anything of the sort. Just a straight up disconnect, and it always happens when he's running extremely well. Really unfortunate to see yet again. I'm really frustrated with that, if I'm completely honest. That promotes Sailor up into second. Dynamic Carbon somehow finding his way onto the podium again. Look at this, Bear has managed to overtake King of Talk. What happened to King of Talk? I'm not 100% certain. Actually, did they have to make another pit stop or something? My apologies for completely missing that. But somehow Bear caught up. Perhaps King made another mistake, uncharacteristically so. But he's now all over the back of Bear again. If anyone in chat could have actually told me when it happened or what potentially did happen, it would be quite useful. As they pull alongside, going down towards the Ascari chicane again. Nils in chat again, unfortunate to yet again disconnect. All the penalty being served by King of Talk in the braking zone of Ascari. Bear having to do proper defensive job here. It wouldn't surprise me if King had to make a second stop, but or something. Maybe he got caught in a very large gravel trap. But now Bear has someone to scrap with, so that perseverance has paid off. Although King of Talk down the inside at Parabolica, and it looks like the Ferrari has managed to carry more speed around the outside. Ferrari versus Mercedes. In Formula 1, it's normally the Ferrari with the straight line advantage. It seems to be the same here in DRL. Down the straight they go. Even in the slipstream, it doesn't look like the Mercedes can quite keep up. Oh! Very close to hitting the back of the Ferrari there was King. Avoids doing so. The skin of his teeth. Which teeth don't have, if anyone didn't notice. 3/10 purple is King of Talk going into Sector 1, which seems to be Ernst Spennert's weakest point of the circuit, because everyone seems to be going purple in Sector 1. As all over the back of Bear like a bad rash is Brit at the moment. Nearly see gets a little bit of a better exit out of Lesmo too, pulls up alongside. And again you can see the Ferrari, when both cars not in slipstream, seems to have the slight advantage now going into the Ascari chicane. Going to be dealing with dirty air as well, don't forget. Now will the Mercedes have a bit of a run here? Again, it looks like the Ferrari has just enough on the horsepower spectrum to keep it ahead, even though the Mercedes has the slipstream. Oh! Contact between the two of them. That sends Bear a little bit wide. And they're side by side now, making their way onto the straight. Going to quickly check for damage. No damage to the car of King of Talk. Looks like Bear again pulls ahead. Is there damage to Bear? No. So both cars avoiding damage. Good to see. King of Torque. Oh, it's weaving a little bit in the braking zone. There's the car behind though, so perhaps just trying to unsettle Wybear with these mind games, trying to give himself a psychological advantage, as ex-Maddie G once said. By far the closest battle on track at the moment. Wybear also 3/10 purple sector 1, that's what I'm on about. So Air and Spanner not the strongest by any means in sector 1 of the circuit. Rounding the Lesmos they go. Scuderia Nuke Shoddy versus Grip Runners Motorsport. The Mercedes has a run on the outside line. Manages to slot ahead due to the exit that they had. It's going to put the Ferrari in the slipstream. So they make their way down to Ascari. Will Wybear be able to counter? Looks like they're down the inside of the Ferrari straight line. Very difficult to beat, but they've outbroke themselves, and that's allowed King to get back ahead. Looking for Wybear, they didn't outbreak himself completely to Narnia and end up in the middle of that massive gravel trap. Have seen cars go off there today, of course. It seems that King has picked up a bit of a penalty. Wybear sends it down the inside. Contact between the two of them sends King of Torque over the AstroTurf and over the marbles. Little bit of roughage between the two of them there. One Wybear's part in particular, Carbon's still up there chasing away on Sailor, but this is the scrap of the moment at the minute. King of Torque gets it wrong on the brakes as replay mode messing up a little bit here. We're gonna go on board, see what happened, watching the telemetry here. So it was King of Torque just outbraking himself massively, had to dive to the inside to avoid hitting the Ferrari. Got reset. That's really going to cost him a lot of time. But sporting of him to run wide and take the reset rather than run straight into the back of Wybear. Now he's got a bit of clear air to regain his focus, perhaps pull the tyres down a bit before he makes another charge. Of course, a bit unfortunate, but it was a genuine mistake on King's part again. Really not seem to settle into his groove this race, or in at least the fashion that he has been in the past. If I recall correctly, last time out at Dragon Trail it was a similar sort of case. Again, I might be remembering things wrong. I barely remember anything race to race. So 4.7 second gap, make that 4.8 seconds as Ferrari takes another 10th away on the straight. Here you see the gap between Sailor and Carbon, it's around 5-ish seconds. A similar-ish gap between Sailor and Carbon as it is to Wybear and King at this point. So we're making our way into the closing laps of this race, around 7 to go. Gonna monitor last laps. It was a 147.8 by Sailor last time around. For Carbon it was a 147.7, so similar lap times between the two of them. Slightly faster from Carbon, but Sailor managing to manage the gap. Managing to manage the gap, really. So he's doing a good job with that. Still around 5 seconds between the two of those. It seems like the BMW is a bit stronger on the straights than the R8. Purple sector 1 again from Wybear. We get 4.7. King of Torque can certainly still close up that gap. It's certainly far from over. Still no wheels on Ayrton Spanner's BMW. doesn't need him. He's winning the race. A fantastic livery work, it has to be said again, from all of the competitors, really. Shame that we've had so many retirements and such due to connection issues and such. Because we did start with quite a large grid, we're down to 5. But it only takes 2 cars to have a race, and we've still seen plenty of action throughout this one. I just got another new follower. Shout out to Lornouch Start, or whatever that was. Again, probably butchered that pronunciation. People actually following this, so big up. Hope you're enjoying the stream, if it is indeed that they are following me off of that. Can't really see what else it could be. Sailor with a 22.8 second gap to make up. That is looking like a massive task. Pretty unsurmountable task unless Ernstfenner makes some kind of mistake at this stage. Interesting to note, they have lost a bit of time to Carbon throughout this lap. The gap was around 5 seconds, it's now 3.8, and if Carbon keeps on taking chunks out like that, then it could certainly prove to be a battle right down to the flag. 48.5 from Sailor on that one, so they must have made a mistake. 48.0 from Carbon. Through Chicane 1 they go, and through Curva Grande as well. Wybear with a 1.1 second penalty, so that's really going to play into the hands of King of Torque, isn't it? Because King of Torque now penalty-less. They keep on eating into that advantage. It's 4.5 seconds at the moment between Wybear and King of Torque, so it certainly could come down by the end of this race, especially if Wybear has to serve that penalty. You can just about see the gap. It's pretty much the chicane is the gap. So Wybear needs to keep it together. The tyres are looking quite good on the Ferrari. Compare it to the Mercedes, yep. Interesting to see. Because of course the Ferrari was quite well known before a few updates ago for having very slidey nature, very, very poor tyre wear. It's good to see that it has certainly improved a lot, and shout out to the mechanics of Nookshot Motorsport, especially Joe the Flyer, who's been doing a lot of work behind the scenes, and all the lads over there that have been making the Ferrari such a regular GT3 car compared to what it was as well in terms of setup. All been working tremendously hard. Just a shame that with all the disconnects and such that we haven't had as much luck as we could have. Nevertheless, we're still at the top of the team championship, so hoping we can maintain that. The gap for second is really coming down, you know. 2.4 seconds between Sailor and Carbon. What was the last lap from Sailor? Is a 148.3. Carbon was a 147.5. That is a massive chunk of time. Let's monitor the tyres between the two. Now it seems to be that the left rear is what's giving away the most on Sailor's car. So the R8 with its mid-engined layout, of course, handles different to the front-engine BMW, and it is the rear tyres that are paying a bit of a price. The R8, similar to the Ferrari, hasn't been the kindest car on its tyres in the past. Has improved, but perhaps not as much as the Ferrari. The gap now down to 2 seconds. Carbon is on an absolute mad charge at the moment. What was that lap? A 147.6. And a 148.5. That's nearly a second on that last lap alone. And if you look at the lap count, this is certainly going down to the flag, isn't it? In other news, the gap between Weber and King of Torque has come down. There is in the slipstream range. Still a bit of penalty to serve. Don't know whether it was a mistake from Weber or whether King has just finally managed to find a bit of extra pace in the Mercedes. But Weber coming under pressure again. Everything's building up to a fantastic climax. Fastest lap at the moment, probably going to stay that way by end. Spent a 146.815. Tremendous pace shown by the Welshman throughout this one. Will Weber be able to hold on? They're still purple by 4/10 through that first sector. The straight line speed of the Ferrari perhaps is giving it an advantage there. He just needs to hold on for a few more laps. Come on, lad. Definitely no bias here in the commentary box. The gap between Sailor and Carbon, it's not gone down as much as it had on the last lap. It's gone down by around 3/10 on this occasion, but Carbon still needs to keep on pushing. By far the closest scrap on track at the moment, though. We'll keep track of the one for second, but it's for this 4th position scrap between King and Weber. Ferrari stronger on the straights, the Mercedes perhaps better on the corners. They're side by side, making their way down to Parabolica. Again, you can see the Ferrari with its straight line proving to be advantageous. Still with 0.4 penalty to serve. And the gap between those two less than 0.2 of a second, so Weber's got to serve that penalty as well as keep King behind. That's going to be a massive ask, and all that while avoiding picking up more. It's certainly going to be right down to the wire. Still King with no penalties yet. They send it down the inside. Oh, there's contact between the two of them. Going for a replay on King of Torque's car here. You can see there's the contact. Very light. Didn't seem to affect it that much. No damage to either car. Weber running a bit critical on fuel, but should be able to get to the end of the race with that amount. Still now with 0.7 seconds, so he's gaining penalty time rather than losing it. Clearly just trying to stay ahead, making mistakes. So pressure from King of Torque, of course, champion of DTM Season 2, really starting to get to the Indonesian. Serves 0.2 of it in the braking zone of Ascari, needs to do that again. The leader is on the final lap of the race. Now Sailor, the gap between them and Carbon, 1.3 seconds, which is the brand new, as of I think either last update or the update before, slipstream range. So all still to play for second and third. Weber still having to defend. On a track like Monza, though, the Ferrari should have the advantage because of the straight line. That's willed on by the Tifosi here at Monza. Through the chicane they go. They've got the the penalty rather down to 0.2 because of that. That was a fantastic move by Weber to reduce it. Now he just needs to keep him behind. My teeth are practically chattering. It's that tense here in the commentary booth. Again, no bias whatsoever. Purple sector 1, shock. Just needs to avoid picking up more penalties. Seems smooth through the second chicane as round the final corner with no wheels is Ayrton Spener to win the race here. Round 7 of DRL GT here at Monza. Fantastic result for them. What can Sailor do? Will Sailor hold on over Carbon? It looks like the gap is closing between 4th and 5th as well. Having to monitor both of these scraps. They're coming up to the line. It looks like Carbon won't quite have enough on this occasion. He still manages to get a podium from absolutely nowhere. But Sailor crosses the line to take 2nd. Dynamic Carbon takes 3rd, and it's going to be 1 corner to go. 1/10 of penalty left to serve for for Wybear rather. Sortez, he tries to go around the outside, outbreaks himself, and that's going to be it, surely. King of Tour with a 0.5 second penalty. He threw absolutely everything into it, but it's not going to be enough. Wybear comes up to take 4th. And King of Talk, last of the finishers. Who would have predicted that? What a race that was. That was fantastic how it all built up to the end. And even though there weren't really position swaps at the end, just the tense atmosphere of such close scraps, it's fantastic to see. Of course, congratulations to Ayrton Spener on that race win. Here you can see the only driver to finish the race within an hour. 27 seconds up the road from Sailor. I believe that's an A and B team relationship or something like that between those two. Dynamic Carbon in 3rd for Dynamic Esports. Yet another podium for the Irishman. Who knows how he does it. Unbelievable scenes. But my personal driver of the day, again, no bias. Wybear in the closing stages managing to hold off King of Talk without pressure. Big up, lad. Of course, leave your personal driver of the day in chat or in the comments. That's just my personal pick. I think Wybear did a fantastic job. Some fantastic strategy calls mid-race as well between Sailor, Dynamic and King, and it all shuffled around towards the end, so that was a fantastic race. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if new. We're about to get some interviews if we can. Hopefully Ayrton Spener doesn't leave the lobby before I get the chance this time. Whew, that was quite a race, eh? Fastest lap in the end was a 1:46.804. Set on the second to last lap by Ayrton Spener, so it really shows that they were pushing from start to the absolute finish. Carbon in the lobby chat, of course. Fair enough. We can't hear from Ayrton Spener, unfortunately. He's on taxi duty. So we're going to hear from Sailor if we can then. Second place finisher. If he's alive. I don't think he's alive. Great. Oh, no. He's typing now. So Sailor is indeed alive after the race. Perhaps just went to quickly get a drink or something. a short interview, since when have those ever been a thing? Okay, setting up the party, and we'll be hearing from our second place finisher, Sailor, relatively shortly. Invite has been sent out. Sailor is here in the interview booth now that the commentary is over. Welcome, of course. Congratulations on second place.
Thank you.
It seemed to be a very, very strong result for you, but you was involved with a three-way scrap with Carbon and King for quite a decent part in the middle. How would you say it was to be in that scrap? Because it did look like you was holding back for a little bit, looking to just wait for the opportunity to happen rather than seeking it out. Just interested to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah. They were battling every time. They were side by side down the straight, so I thought I won't do anything stupid. So I just sat behind, and the tires were great, to be honest. After 12 laps, almost nowhere. So I thought I would do an undercut. But I knew the tires were going to be a little beat up in the end, at the end of the race, which they were. It worked kind of great. I got past King with the undercut, but and Carbon as well. Actually, he used quite a lot of time in the pits. I don't understand why, but yeah. Then King made a mistake, obviously, which made it even better for me. But yeah, it was a intense race because my setup was really unstable in turn one, so I lost 2/10 almost every lap, and I felt the car was going to spin every time. So yeah.
Yeah, I did actually note on several occasions your R8 did seem very suspiciously slow going out of the first chicane, but you nevertheless managed to get it to work, and you've managed to secure another solid result for Team Black Diamond. So how's it shaping up with your championship challenge, would you say?
I don't know. When I signed up, I knew I was going to miss because it was in the middle. I saw it was in the middle of the summer, so I knew I was going to miss a couple of races. So I'm not too. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to challenge much. I looked at the standings yesterday and I saw it was quite a few points behind. So I don't think I'm going to challenge that too much. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, nevertheless, a really strong result for you. Stronger result for, of course, your. I assume it's an A and B teammate relationship now with you and Spanner, right? Something like that?
Yeah, we're teammates. We race together in other series as well, so... So, yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering that, because the different cars. Do you think, say for example, if you was in the M6 and Spanner was in the R8, do you think that you could have potentially have got the win here today, or do you think that your teammate just had a little bit extra pace on him compared to the rest of the field?
I don't know. He's fast in every car. So, whatever you put in him, he's a chance to win every time, so... yeah. I don't know. I think I kind of challenged him. I just made a little mistake in the first couple of laps, and I lost. You saw he got a gap pretty quickly, and he could just extend that because who was it, Nils? He kept fighting with me, and I had to exit out of turn one every time. So yeah, with another setup, maybe I could challenge him because my pace was good, but the stability of the car was just awful. So I just didn't want to crash.
Well, it certainly paid off. You was very consistent out there. Congratulations to you on that second place, and also pass on a congratulations to Ed Spanner, who unfortunately couldn't make the interview on our behalf.
Thank you.
Alright, thanks for the interview.
Thank you. See you later.
Alright, and now we are going to see if we can get another interview real quick. So that of course was Sailor of Team Black Diamond. Very solid result for them. Gonna see if I can get an interview with Wybear after that fantastic scrap that we saw them in towards the end. See if we can get them in shortly. Oh, there you see Sailor going around in their R8. Alright, so Wybear's agreed to it. Should be joining the party chat shortly. Invite has been sent out. Hopefully. I'll send it again. Oh, the lobby's just been shut down. Bother, I didn't get the replay footage, did I? Of course. Of course. And everything was going so well. Wybear not in the interview chat. Not sure what's going on there. I try and listen to myself on stream, checking the audio post-race for some weird reason. I'm not sure what else I can really do here, so I'm probably just gonna have to end the stream off as is, which is unfortunate considering it would have been nice to catch up with Wybear again, but no doubt I will speak to him personally as his team manager, of course, after the race, or rather after the stream. The race has been over for quite a while. Again, hope you've all enjoyed the show. I certainly have. Be sure to tune in next week, same time, same place, for, of course, round 8 of the championship. I'm going to quickly check to see where that is. It is, drum roll please, drum roll intensifies or something. An unconfirmed track. It is still to be decided according to the thread, which is interesting. So we don't know where we're going next week, so if you want to find out, by all means, subscribe, notifications on, and you will find out as soon as I do, pretty much. So, again, hope you've all enjoyed the stream. It has been a very entertaining evening of motorsport. Wybear has joined the party chat at last. I was just ending off the stream because I didn't know whether you'd be here. But yeah, hello. You just do a quick audio check to be safe. Okay, I don't think you've got your party share settings on, or voice share settings on, so just go into oh, hold on, go into party settings and then go to allow your voice to be shared and then click always allow if you haven't already. Okay, that's fine. Yep, party settings, and then allow your voice to be shared. Yep. So, right. So, is it in always allow? It's still not picking up. So it's within the actual the party itself, you know, where it says my name and then your name. There's a bit that says party settings. Yep. Then there should be a list saying party privacy, microphone level, audio mix, chat audio, and allow your voice to be shared is the one that you need to set to always allow.
Party settings is on the settings, right?
No, it's you literally from the home menu you go into the party, and then there's a tab on the right which should say party settings.
Party settings, yes, I got it.
Right, and then allow your voice to be shared. Have that set to always allow.
Okay, always allow, I did it.
Alright, so everything should be running correctly now after a little bit of technical difficulties. Wybear can get the interview underway now then, so congratulations on a very spirited drive to 4th place in the end of things. It looked like for quite a while you was running by yourself, but by the end of things you was scrapping out with the reigning champion and you managed to come out on top. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel great, but yeah, as all you can see that I have tables from the turn 1 and I got pushed on the second chicane, so yeah, I was in the field, but lucky Houdini got spun, and yeah, I basically just drive it for myself most of the race, but yeah, I got a good scrap with KLT.
It's certainly impressive to watch, really made for a dramatic conclusion to the race. Of course, the Ferraris have been looking quite strong on the straights, especially compared to the Mercedes. Would you say that in particular helped you out, especially at Ferrari's home turf at Monza?
Yeah, because the straight line is very good for the Ferrari, because at the slowest turn I cannot run away from KOT, but Monza have at least 2 straight line, so yeah, that straight line helped me tonight.
And of course, commiserations to, of course, teammate Nilsman for having yet another disconnect, but your result of getting 4th on the podium would certainly boost not just yours but our hopes of getting the team's championship, and yeah, hopefully we're looking quite strong for that, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I feel sorry for Nils because he got I think he's got second disconnected from this season. So yeah, maybe he's will be lucky next time, and yeah, we will have a good point and to secure our position as a team.
Of course, let's hope for the best with that. So, thanks for the interview. Thanks for putting up with a little bit of technical difficulties at first, but we managed to get there in the end. Best of luck going forward, of course, to both you, Nils, everyone back at the Scuderia Nuke Shoddy team. And yeah, hope to speak with you again soon.
Yeah, thank you, mate. See ya.
And now, with that interview finished, it is finally time to end the stream. Again, apologies for the bit of technical issues with that, but we managed to get there in the end. I hope you've all enjoyed as per usual. If you want to find out where we're racing next week, stay tuned here on Dynamic Racing League, still not part of the Radio Show Limited network of channels. I have been your commentator, Zokio the Radish, and I will hope to see you next time out. Until then, bye. Later, folks.